Welcome to Chatterbox Bearcats. I am your host, Nick Niehaus, joined by Eric Lilly. It is finally game week once again. The Cincinnati Bearcats football team coming off a bye. I'd say we won the bye, Lilly. We moved up in the rankings from 25 to 22. But we have Arizona coming to town to play at Nippert Stadium on Saturday. We're not going to talk about that in this video. We will have a full preview of that game later on this week. Today's all about the path to the Big 12 championship, the path to the college football playoff, Big 12 results over the weekend, what needs to happen, what does UC have to do to make it to Arlington, what our competitors look like. So we'll break it all down today, and I, of course, have the Big 12 guru, Eric Lilly, with me. I get guru of all things college athletics, I guess. But the biggest thing, obviously, was the Texas Tech BYU game. Texas Tech never really was close. 29-7 win at home. Didn't look great for BYU. That had me thinking. I sent the tweet out. The Cincinnati Bearcats can absolutely win the Big 12. They can. Will they? We'll see. But I think that showed a lot of fans that BYU is not invincible and they can be beaten. Is that the biggest takeaway of the weekend? Was that game?
I think so. I kind of I don't know if you remember in the offseason and leading into the first couple weeks, how I kind of picked on Iowa State. And I was like, why are these guys ranked? They're just not going to be that good this year. I kind of had a little BYU angle with that too. Not as much. When they lost their quarterback, I started fishing around their futures because they're just a good football team that didn't have a quarterback. And we've seen now that Bear Bachmeier, the true freshman, is a dog. He's got that it factor that Sorsby has. They're rallying around him. But he ran into a buzzsaw on the weekend. It's his first time playing a road game against a team like that with an environment like that. And that's my thing with BYU. I just don't like how people have talked about him. It bothers me.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that makes me angry, Niehaus, is when teams are overrated. And it's not me discounting what they've done, I promise. But BYU isn't the seventh best team in the country. And this might be a hot take. We'll see if I get exposed for this. There's BYU fans everywhere. They're probably watching this before we even post it. I think we're going to be favored in that game, Niehaus. And that's a bold thing to say right now because the Arizona spread is kind of shocked me, being 4.5 to open. I just think that's disrespectful.
I didn't even know that. That.
It's moving though. We're going to get it where it belongs.
Okay. Well,
so
if you're listening to this, you might think, hey, Niehaus, you're an idiot. You see Texas Tech beat BYU 29-7, and your thought is Cincinnati can win the Big 12. What about Texas Tech? One thing about Texas Tech, Baron Morton, is he really going to be able to keep playing? Is that what is it, hairline fracture?
The moment I saw that tweet, I said, I want Texas Tech to beat BYU. I want them to win out, and I want to get to Arlington because, Niehaus, how have we performed this year against quarterbacks who can't move?
Very well.
Exactly. I think that's our defensive strength, the one strength of our defense. You're spot on, and our offensive line's really awesome. So maybe can neutralize that crazy pass rush they have and win a close game. But getting ahead of our skis there. But how are you playing with that injury? Gosh.
He was limping. I was watching the game, and it was early on in the game, and he's just he threw a touchdown, then started limping to celebrate.
Luckily for him, their schedule here on out is a joke. Texas Tech is almost a guarantee to get to the Arlington. They play UCF in West Virginia. So and they have tiebreakers over BYU.
Okay. Yeah. Anything from that game you saw that makes you kind of believe in our chances?
In terms of Texas Tech, no, other than Morton being hurt.
Yeah.
And me having this thing in my head where I feel much better about us on a neutral field. than like a true road environment. Like, I'm calling Nebraska true road. Sorry.
It is.
With Utah and Nebraska, the crowd is absolutely a factor. It affects a lot of things. So I really would love to play any team in this conference on a neutral field for a chance to get in the playoff. I would feel as good as you can be as an underdog. So yeah, their D-line's crazy. And then for BYU, I just think they're a really solid football team, and nothing is that special about them other than like being solid. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like they're just really, it's just a really good football team.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of big swing plays. They're always on the right side of them. Sitake's been there forever. We saw when we played at BYU, 2 big swing plays, BYU's favor. That's why we lost the game. So just a good football team. They don't scare me though.
Yeah.
I refuse to say they scare me.
I'm kind of with you there.
Now's a good time to tell you that we're sponsored by Martino's, the best place to have a Bearcats watch party. We are planning on the Xavier game, probably another football game, but definitely the Xavier game would be electric. Martino's steps away from campus. They got the 2-foot gargantuan hoagies. You're going to need to take a nap after them, but fortunately, they got all the good stuff there, the video games, and just the vibes to make sure that every Bearcats watch party, every Bearcats game is electric.
The other big game that pertains to Cincinnati is Iowa State TCU. Iowa State takes down the Horned Frogs on the road, 20-17. Now that's big for what reason, Lily?
That's the most shocking result of the weekend for me. In terms of, I did a Big 12 parlay this week, and I missed on that leg. I cannot believe Iowa State won this game. They are decimated with injuries, absolutely decimated. Like, remember when we played them? They've had 3 or 4 more guys go down in the last week. They're playing backups everywhere. And TCU was still in the hunt for Arlington. Like, Sonny Dykes should be embarrassed. TCU should be embarrassed. This is like a pathetic loss. And it makes me wonder, like, I've been looking, like, considering whipping out a take like at TCU is our hardest game here on out. I can't say it now. Like, I got to respect BYU for what they've done. But I don't know what to say. Like, they've got to 6 wins. They're bowl eligible. Sonny Dykes is kind of known for falling apart down the stretch. Obviously not in the playoff season, but I would love if they start spiraling, because that would make me feel a lot better about that last game we have. And it just makes our Iowa State win look a little better. We can say we beat a bowl team. I was worried they might lose out. So,
oh geez.
And then in terms of the question, which I have not answered yet.
Yeah.
I kind of answered it. TCU, pretty much, they eliminated themselves. They're out of here. There are other teams lurking still, but it's nice to get one out of the way without us having to do it, I guess.
And then we also play them. So that would be obviously the other thing is we have Arizona, BYU, and TCU left. That's what we got. So the path is simple, Lily. It's very simple, but we can complicate it.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
The simpleness is you win out, you're in.
Yep.
But that's you didn't tune into this episode to hear that.
There's your playoff picture TikTok. Win out.
If we don't, say we lose a game. Let me rephrase this. There is 3 teams really in it. I mean, really in it. Texas Tech, BYU, and Cincinnati. And you know what's funny? It's going to sound so stupid. But it's like I keep forgetting that 2 teams go to the Big 12 championship. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
we don't have to be number 1. You know, we can be number 2. Anyway, there's 3 teams really in it, all with 1 loss. Again, I just rattled them off: Texas Tech, BYU, Cincinnati, and then 3 teams lurking with 2 losses. That's Houston, Utah, Arizona State. I think we can eliminate the rest.
Yep. If you have 3 losses, you're not getting in. This is not the Big 12 of last year. There's a little more strength at the top.
Utah will obviously have the tiebreaker over us, so we're cheering against Utah.
Correct.
Don't play Houston. Don't play Arizona State. Cheer against them, obviously. I mean, we're cheering against everybody, obviously. But break down for me, if we were to lose, who would we want to lose to? If we had
the funny
to.
part, yeah. The funny part is TCU. But we don't. So put it this way, Niehaus. I was going there's this website. I don't even know what it is. It's a crazy website. DM me on Twitter if you want the link, where you can pick every game, hit submit, and then it tells you the standings in order. It has all the tiebreakers programmed into it. I've been messing around with it a little, so I have a decent idea of like possible like outcomes, and we're in trouble if we lose a game. And the main reason why is because Utah has that tiebreaker, like you mentioned. But then the other reason is a lot of these tiebreakers, Arizona State is just in front of us. And that, number one, that pisses me off. I just sounded like Wes. Arizona State is ahead of us in a lot of these tiebreakers. They beat Texas Tech. They have a couple good wins, but they don't have a quarterback. Sam Levitt is out for the year, and they have a pretty easy schedule here on out. So that's like, there is a disastrous scenario here where we go, 7-2. Arizona State gets in over us because they beat West Virginia, Colorado, and Arizona down the stretch. That Arizona game is a rivalry game, but it's at Arizona State. Dillingham has, Dillingham. Those guys are going to play hard down the stretch. They're not going to fall apart. I kind of think Arizona State's going to finish up there. So losing another game really hurts. And that's the scary part about this, is that Utah, Arizona State, they don't really have, games that are like, that's a loss. You know what, like our ideal Saturday would be, Niehaus? Take down Arizona at noon and then come home and watch Baylor beat Utah at home. That would make me feel so much better, because that head-to-head tiebreaker is what's bothering me. I do need to dive in a little more on these tiebreakers because once there's 3 teams, the rules change a little. So a lot of these tiebreakers could change if Utah loses. I just don't think they're going to. So
does
it's
it make
a little
a
scary
difference
if we hit 2.
Yeah. Does it make a difference if we lose to Arizona rather than losing to TCU?
I think it does for those 3-team tiebreakers.
Okay.
One
of the secondary ones.
They're so confusing, like this far out. In terms of really digging in the weeds there, I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah.
My logic was, you lose the road game.
Yep. So, okay, let's get into the Arizona State, Houston, and Utah. And there, you kind of touched on it, but I kind of want to make it more clear on
Houston. Yeah.
On the schedules they have. So Arizona State, they're probably the team to be most afraid of, because West Virginia, then at Colorado, and then again at home against Arizona in a rivalry game. So pretty easy schedule. Houston only has 2 games left.
Yep.
TCU and Baylor. And there's a theme here.
State.
Oh yeah. We're big Baylor fans here at Chatterbox Bearcats going down the stretch, because again, Houston plays Baylor and TCU. They're on the road at Baylor to end the season. They have TCU at home. And then Utah at Baylor, at home against Kansas State, at Kansas to finish the season. So Baylor.
That's it.
Sick them.
Yeah. And it makes our win
Baylor
look better.
Absolutely. So if there was ever a rooting guide, you're rooting for Baylor the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. You're rooting against Utah, Houston, and Arizona State. We keep excluding BYU because we play them. So this is all under the assumption we win. I'm not saying we're going to.
And I guess we should explain that to some people who might not know. Like head-to-head tiebreaker. That's the first Big 12.
Yeah.
So if you beat BYU, and that's why I wanted BYU to beat Utah originally, is because we play BYU at home. It's easier to win at home, as we saw 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Anything else, Lily? I think that about does it. We kind of broke it down.
Yes. One more thing. Central Florida lost to Houston in embarrassing fashion on Friday night. You just hate to see it. just hate to see it.
Absolutely
I was actually rooting for UCF for the first time in my life. So,
oh yeah, I guess so.
I'm not worried. Let me be clear real quick, guys. I am not worried about Houston, but I did do a couple simulations where we had 2 losses and they had 2 losses and they were ahead of us, which is, honestly, that's the one where you go off the grid for a couple months and just how did this happen type thing. So
that's terrible.
Let's not even entertain that.
That's terrible. All right, well, we're going to have the Arizona game preview later on this week in the true midweek show. We've come at you with the Dayton basketball preview. That's going to be Tuesday night. And then, of course, Arizona again at home at historic Nippert Stadium when we have the midweek show. See you guys. Thanks for listening.